Tutu said you can't be human all by yourself, and when you have this quality, Ubuntu, you are known for your generosity. Well, today marks World Social Work Day, and the theme for the year is Ubuntu, I am because we are. The day is aimed at recognizing the hard work and dedication of social workers. Well, to celebrate it, Marisa Engelbrecht from the Solidarity Social Workers Guild talks to us from Pretoria. Marisa, good morning, and should I say happy Social Worker Day, and thanks for all the work that you do.
Thank you so much. I'm sure our members would really appreciate just a shout out and saying thank you. We do see what you are doing. We do appreciate the difference you are making, and we appreciate you.
Well, let's talk about the reality then of this kind of work and where social workers find themselves, particularly in South Africa. Still overworked, underappreciated, and most possibly underpaid?
Unfortunately, that is the reality of where our social workers are. We actually recently conducted research specifically with regards to job security and specifically salaries for social workers. This was following the council, the SSP, the Statutory Council for Social Workers. They wanted to increase the annual fees for social work. So what we did as part of our comment that we submitted was to do research with social workers with regards to salaries. And unfortunately, it was quite saddening, the results. 79% of the respondents indicated that their salaries were reduced or suspended during COVID, and 57% of them actually fears impending job losses. The challenge of COVID in the social services industry is a reality, in that the need for social services are increasing rapidly. And in the same time, most of our social workers are working within NGOs. And they aren't allowed to do fundraising or events. A lot of the donors had to stop donating due to a lack of funds. So, yes, the challenges are real. Stigma around social work are real. People think that social workers are only there to remove children from their homes, which is not the case. Our social workers are caregivers, they are family counselors, they are soldiers, they are spokespeople, they are community builders, and sometimes even in some people's darkest hour, the social worker is that little piece of light that they need just to pull.
So, Marisa, it's very interesting that you say that during the time of COVID-19 and lockdown that, social workers in that time or since that time are facing job losses and salary cuts as well. But I would imagine that the demand for social workers would have been greater in that time, and even now more so when things are a bit more relaxed, because you now will have the access that you possibly didn't have during that time. And we know of the stories of abuse. We know of troubled families and all of the concerns during lockdown that people were stuck with people that they shouldn't be stuck with in that time.
That's very true. Last year when we were talking about the preschools and the fact that the preschools remain closed for so long, the reality is that home is not a safe space for everyone. We see children that go back to school now and they are really traumatized. The lockdown period has impacted very negatively on a lot of people. And the challenges that we have with the support from the Department of Social Development and the Council for Social Workers is actually the support has decreased for the social worker, in that the department and the council aren't really available to assist the social worker in the challenges that she faces every day. And the department is currently focusing more on things like social grants and less on things like upliftment, educating communities and job creation.
And I mean, it also is, quite worrying, because historically we've known there's been a shortage of social workers. We've heard that there aren't enough social workers to cope with the caseload. So it also makes it very difficult to understand why we would have to sort of cut back on the number of social workers that we actually have.
the NGOs that appoint social workers just don't have the funds. It's not that the social worker is not, there's a high demand. And I honestly don't think that we are training enough social workers to support our communities and the huge social demands that we have in our current economic state, especially in South Africa. If you look at countries overseas and the caseloads of the social workers there, it's way less than what we see in South Africa. And the challenge is that, yes, there aren't enough social workers for all the work that needs to be done, but there also isn't enough funds to support the social worker in the work that she needs to do. And if you put age on top of that, we have a very large amount of social workers that are closing in on pension going age, and I am concerned. I am concerned that we will see the shortage of social worker very soon.
Marisa, are you of the view then that the Department of Social Development and the council that you speak of are able to help? Are they able to help, or are their hands also tied?
I do think that they are able to help. I do think that open discussions with people that work in the communities every single day, they are hands-on. They have brilliant plans and ideas, and they usually have the minimum resources to put all the plans into action. So I think if we can have open council with the department and with the council itself, then there's actually a large contributing occupational base out there that would be able to give inputs, that would be able to look at, I almost want to say, with a bit of a more clear view on the realities faced in communities. And to be quite honest, just handing out social grants is not a solution. It's actually adding to the problem. You need to learn somebody to catch his own fish, and instead of just giving him fish the whole time. You need to make people independent of state funds every month. That's the only way that you can move forward.
And that can't happen, like you say, if you don't have the education on the ground, and you need social workers for that. And like Marisa says, they're not being supported. Marisa Engelbrecht, thank you very much for that. Well,